So a bit of a heads up for this one. I wrote and recorded all this like before the Steam version was released. It was originally intended to be like, oh, what 13 islands are they going to add into the Steam version? So instead of like thinking of this as a prediction, think of this as like how I would have done it. Can you, if you can walk with me to that pier, then we'll be good. Alright, thank you. Nostalgia, it's a hell of a drug, so, you really shouldn't dwell on the past, and, you should move on to new things, evolve your taste, expand into brand new things. So for the next 30 minutes, let's dwell on my nostalgia for an old Flash game, Poptropica. For those uninitiated, Poptropica is a kids game that kind of acted like a safe MMO for kids, kind of like Club Penguin, except it kind of drew back its multiplayer features a lot and focused mainly on the quests, named islands, because that's kind of the theme. Essentially, every new island was a brand new story, and they were all based around, certain genres of stories, or maybe a clever idea, maybe it's just educational, or mainly you're just gonna be in like the Peanuts or something. Whatever. I played it a lot as a kid, and if anybody's wondering where I dropped off, it was like when they started doing episodic releases. That's just not because I hate episodic releases, although I do hate those. It's just I forgot my password after like the first episode of like the first island where they started doing that, which ironically was like the survival one. So my character died in a forest, basically. But apparently they're still going on with like new content and new islands all the time. That's pretty cool. They're also like actively interacting with the community through like fan design costume contests and talking to fans on Twitter and like doing stuff with fan art. Anyways, there's been a lot of changes over the years, mainly in the past couple of years, because all the old islands were made in Flash, and Flash kind of just got blipped out of existence. Whoops. So, the only islands that really survived, Flash being brutally murdered, are the ones that were made in whatever new coding language they're using. I don't care enough to check. But they said they were going to make those old islands playable sometime like last year, I believe. And now it seems like they've actually done that. They originally announced 13 islands to be available on Steam, but literally in production of this, they put up the Steam page and there's like 17 islands there now. And also, none of them are the original ones. They're just like ones that are still up on the website. Which begs the question why they're even doing that, because like I can still play these. I mean, sure, some of them only have like 2 episodes up, and this one has like all 5 or whatever of all the episodic islands. That's not the point. The point is, I can't play if I can't constantly rely on my nostalgia to find the slightest bit of happiness. I think I just need to see a therapist. And also, like, keep in mind, even if they were keeping only to, like, the old islands, and, even assume they were still doing 13, there was about 40 or so islands that got banished to the Shadow Realm. So even then, they would have, like, a bit to go. So, I've decided to, like, go through all the islands and essentially just pick out which ones I would like them to have put on Steam. Now, I'm not just pulling this like out of whatever. I've put myself some like category. I've got some categories to fit everything into. Number 1, memorability of the islands. Essentially, do they stand out? Do they have a unique idea? 2, merchandise. Yeah, Poptropica was big. It had merchandise. It had like toys, books, 3D, like a DS and a 3DS game, you know, the whole enchilada. And, you know, how an island is represented in, like, merch and stuff would help in the inclusion. 3, someone on Reddit did, like, a fan survey, having fans rank which Poptropica Island was their favorite. So, I'm judging that also. 4, how important is it to Poptropica? Like, world building, how the fans took it, etc. Like, what did it include just overall for the whole anything? Number 5, personal preferences, because this is my list and my choices and my opinion reign supreme. Now that I've got the 5 rules established, each island will be fit into one of 4 categories. It will be included, one of the 13 that's included. I'm also choosing 13 and not 17 because that's what they originally announced. Runner-up doesn't take the extra step to get included, but I think it would definitely be included if it was like they were gonna add a second wave of like of other islands. 3, no. And 4, licensed. Look, I mentioned this previously, but they have like licensed islands from time to time with like book franchises mostly, and I doubt they would pay for the royalties to bring them over to Steam. Okay, so with the categories established, let's just get going already. I'll be honest, the first few Poptropica Islands aren't that interesting because, okay, in my opinion, 2009 through 2014 was like the peak. That's like when the islands were like just hit after hit. They were really cool. That's besides the point. Early Poptropica is really just kind of a proof of concept that you can like beat in like 10 minutes. Like you run into like a pixelated character, you run around a little island, encounter a giant, you know, basic stuff. And while it is basic, I think it would be an excellent choice for inclusion simply because it is the first island, and also there's like something like it's necessary for a later island, so it should basically just be included for that alone, is what I would be saying. However, the Poptropica fan vote ranked this number 36 of 52 islands. So, no, it's disqualified.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
In Sharktooth Island, there's a shark that is threatening an island. Yeah, that's all I've got. Like, I just don't find this all that interesting. It's like, you run through an ancient ruins, you meet a witch doctor that also had, like, a toy, as well as, like, the shark kid had a toy, but I don't think that's enough, in my personal opinion, especially since I forgot those existed. Like, I knew, like, other characters had toys, and I just completely forgot these guys existed. So Tangled is a time travel story. Essentially, items from every single time period have been mixed up, and the future's destroyed, so you gotta go set everything right. You visit the Great Wall, Da Vinci, Lewis and Clark, etc. It's fun. It's got a lot of cool ideas. I'm not gonna include it though. That's just because I don't really think it left like that much of an impact. Like, there was no books, no merchandise, or anything at all. With that being said, it got like number 12 on that fan poll, so I'd say it's definitely a runner-up.
I am Dr. Rabbit.
Here it is, the eternal classic. The devs woke up, drank some coffee, canceled Monster Carnival Island, and then made this absolute banger. Yeah, it's the island where the mascot of the game comes from. He got toys. He got included in like a super villain island that's coming up later. So I'd say, yeah. So this one is another fan favorite, and it's at this point where I might get the entire Poptropica fan base to hate me. I think Superpower Island is just alright. It's not bad. If it was just my opinion, I don't think I would put this island in the 13. And this is where the DS game Poptropica Adventures just mosh pits into the fight. Because, yeah, there was a DS game. The DS game's basic thing was, like, it had 3 different islands, and Superpower was one of them. There was also a bunch of toys. Like, none of the actual characters in the island, but there was a bunch of, like, costumes that you could equip onto yourself, sold as toys, and that counts. And also, like, the comic book nerd kid makes several cameos in the future, so, it basically fills all my requirements. It's included. Secret Agent Man. The basic plot is a supervillain organization named Bald and Dangerous, very funny, is using a ray to turn people bald, so you join a superhero group to help stop. The plot is as silly as you could probably expect from a kid's game. I just kind of feel like the island is missing, like, the certain thing to make it cool. It's got a lot of cool, like, gadgets to use, and that's pretty fun. It was included on, like, the box of the DS game, but it wasn't in the game. But what's gonna push this over into the inclusion for me is the fact that it got put in, like, the number 7 position of the popularity poll. So basically, my opinion is moot. NABOOTI Island is an amazing and fun island that is a definite inclusion. If it wasn't for the fact that it was based on a licensed book property. It was based on a Choose Your Own Adventure book series called Choose Your Own Adventure. Everyone likes this. It's like the popularity poll. Like, it was one of the top 5, I think. But at the same time, I'm sorry, but this is disqualified. I just think it would be really funny. It's another license island. Disqualified. I really liked this one as a kid, though. It's a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, like Nexo Knights, except before, and also it leans heavier on, like, the fantasy side. And while I think this one is also just kind of a cool idea, but it didn't click, it's a fan favorite. It's got an iconic villain, got a lot of toys. It was featured in the DS game, and also, like, it got adapted into a book. Also, there were, like, Poptropica books. I did not know this. This is an inclusion.
You've got a priceless artifact and a pretty girl on your hands.
Included. This Counterfeit Island is so good, you guys. Oh my god. Essentially, painting is threatened to be stolen. Then you do a bunch of, like, spy, not really. Look, I don't know how I can easily explain why this island's so good, but it's really cool and really fun. And might be why I like detective type things like Ace Attorney and Detective Conan now. It's cream of the crop. Bam. I really loved this one as a kid, and honestly, I still think it stands out, despite the fact that the whole reality TV thing was parodying. Doesn't really exist because there are no more reality game shows except for, like, Dancing with the Stars. It got like 21 on the fan poll, which is like but it recently got a sequel. Wait a minute, it got a sequel?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Mythology Island, another fan favorite, so I have to include it under penalty of death. Okay, but seriously, I wasn't that big of a fan of this one as a kid. Replayed it recently in, like, Flashpoint. It's pretty solid. Does stand out simply because it's based on Greek myth. It was also in the DS game. So, and, you know, it also got remade recently in the new engine they're using. So, you know, there's a good chance this one actually will get included into the Steam version.
You are a pirate!
Number 1, this one is spaced mainly around sailing to different islands. And so why is it called Skullduggery Island? Shouldn't it be more like Skullduggery Archipelago or something like that? Anyways, this is a fan favorite, so yeah, I'd include it just with that. It also got adapted into a book. And also the villain came back, and it's also like really, it's got a lot of playtime behind it, mainly because it's based around like shipping cargo to different islands to sell it. It's essentially teaching kids how to sell stock.
Here comes codename Steam.
Steampunk sucks as a genre. Like, no steampunk story has ever worked. Honestly, not even this one. Okay, the story, everyone goes missing. Why? Well, because everyone's afraid of something invading and something bad's gonna happen. Well, what's bad? Well, they were doing experiments and that went wrong. Ooh, maybe the experiments they were building, like, is some super weapon that uses, like, technology and it went haywire, and, you know, maybe be a cautious tale about how we're too connected to, like, technology now. Anyways, that's not what happened. What actually happened is, Audrey 2 invaded.
I'm just a mean green mother from outer space, and I'm bad.
It is a fine island, and it got, like, number 20 on the fan poll. And, you know, the fact that it's mostly abandoned does, like, make it kind of interesting, so I'll put it in, like, the runners-up category. Another licensed property, I have to disqualify it. I love the peanuts, though.
He's Bigfoot, he's Bigfoot.
Cryptozoology, the study of animals that just do not exist. Bigfoot isn't real, guys, but on this island, they are real, and you decide to take, like, one step above every other cryptozoologist, where they just go out into a forest and find a piece of fur and go, it must be Bigfoot. And no, you decide to just track down the actual things yourself. And this is a really cool island. It is really solid, really fun. It got adapted into a book. Also, it got, like, number 1 on the fan poll. I'm including it.
Big iron on his head.
This one got 9th on the fan poll, and look, I'm sorry, I just didn't find this one very interesting. I did replay it recently after writing this. It is... No, I still stand by that. There's cool ideas, but I just don't think it has enough of the gusto to be included in the main stuff. It is a runner-up, though. It's a license. It's disqualified. Magical Treehouse is a licensed property. It is a shame because I love the aesthetic. The ninja stuff's really cool. This got like 11 in the fan poll, and I understand why.
I am small.
Okay, Shrink Ray. I remember this one being hyped up because this was like their 20th island. I mean, it's okay. It's got a couple cool ideas and like cool puzzles and stuff. But I don't think it takes enough steps to like really be a standout. Hey, y'all hold of cult classics? This is one of them, or at least I thought it was as a kid, but this got like 5th in the fan poll. Anyways, I loved this one as a kid. It's a mystery, so you know, it's probably how I came to like Ace Attorney and Detective Conan, but it's a fan favorite, and honestly pretty memorable in of itself. Robots have taken over the world, and you have to win game shows to save the human race. Okay, honestly, it's alright, but I only have 13 islands, and I don't think this one could make the cut. I'm more of a fan of Reality TV Island, and, you know, I'm already that's a minigame collection, and I'm gonna include one other later on, so, ghosts.
I ain't afraid of no sleep. I ain't afraid of no bed.
It's a ghost story, and honestly, I just love the aesthetic. And I also love the fact that this is the kind of ghost story where the ghost is not trying to kill you, and it's not just like a sleight of hand, oh no, it's actually Mr. Johnson, the carnival owner, trying to swindle people out of his money. It's no Scooby-Doo stuff. It's an actual ghost that's just looking for some peace, and I really like that. Also, like the late 1920s setting is very nice included. You're stuck on the Titanic. Apparently this is also inspired by Moby Dick. I don't remember much about this one. Irrelevance. Man, I loved this island as a kid, and I loved vampires as a kid. Anyways, I just think this is just an alright island. Like, I know I said I like this as a kid and it's very cool, but I don't think it stands out on its own, unlike Ghost Story, which is kind of just in of itself. This is just a generic vampire story, and it's a little bit overplayed. Also, I don't want to add like too many horror islands on this list. This one's a runner-up though.
Lang me your lumdy, give me a moose nearly, you're gonna away a teardrop in his eye. Hey, she back, wee lassie!
Another mythological based island, although this one is based more on Scandinavian myth. A twisted Thicket sees construction interrupting the ancient creatures that live in the woods. And I don't remember much, frankly. But I think the aesthetic is cool enough that it can be a runner-up. Poptropica games. Apparently people don't like this one that much. I don't know what y'all are talking about. This is like iconic to me. Yes, my personal preference is reaching really far, but stick with me. Once every 100 years, the ancient capital of Poptropica, known as Poptropolis, keep up, this is important lore, rises from the sea to host a tournament created to prove tribal supremacy. Yeah, it's a minigame collection, and it is the most obvious one, if I'm gonna be honest. But what really sells this is, like, the aesthetic, you know, the ancient city lost to time, just rising back up for us to explore and take part in an ancient ritual. It's cool. Also, the fact that it actually did disappear for a bit like that it sunk again. So with, like, the story, the aesthetic, and general biasness on hand, I'd say this has earned a spot on the inclusion. Even if I was including licensed islands, I wouldn't be including it. It's not even mid. This is just bad.
Oh, poop.
This got a book adaptation, but I'm pretty sure that was less because, oh, this just had a story needing to be told, and more, the book was coming out like at the same time as the island. Be kind of stupid not to. So no, essentially.
We're great at crime.
Poptropica's foremost evil villains are in suspended animation, and you need to travel into their minds to find the source of their evil. It's just kind of fine. In fact, I feel a couple of these kind of just ruin their original stories a bit. With that being said, I will include it on like the runners-up list, because I do think it's interesting enough, and also I do like a lot of these villain characters.
Stop, don't come back.
This is a mix of both the books, the original movie, and the remake of the movie. One problem though, it's a license, no duh. So I can't really include it. ZOMBERRY Island is a kid-friendly take on the zombie apocalypse, with all the tropes you'd expect. They had a lot of fun with like the marketing material for this. The fact that they did recently make like a Roblox game for this for some reason, I'd say I'd include it as like a runner-up. So not in the main thing, just a runner-up, because I don't think it's interesting enough on its own.
Hello,
Night Watch Island. Loved this one as a kid, as you're like night watch in a mall. There's not much to say other than that though. While it is like a memorable island, I wouldn't really consider it the best of the best. It's definitely worthy of a runner-up though. You run around a backlot to help a director make a movie. I'm gonna put it as another runner-up. Do you remember the Epcot ride Body Wars? That? Yeah, it's just Body Wars. No. Poptropica has been taken over by a brand new company, and as these things usually go in the gaming industry, everything's a disaster, everything's broken, and like half the people aren't even there. Not because they've been fired, because they just decided to take a sabbatical, I guess. I do love meta stories, and I do like this one, especially since it kind of dive into actually like the development of video games, which is cool for a kid's game, especially since the game was always advertised as educational, and a lot of times they didn't really do that. But that being said, this one didn't really score very high on that fan poll, so I'm not including it.
Come on and ride, Big Bunyan ride.
Monster Carnival has so much history behind it. And also it is just a good island in of itself, and also it's like ranked really high on that fan vote. So yeah, I'm including it. So, with all that being done, those are all the islands I've played as a kid. However, as I've said before, they added like a lot of islands. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to look through them unscripted and just give my like base reactions to hearing most of these, because I have no idea what most of these are.
Welcome to Tilted Towers.
Yeah, I got the Poptropica wiki up. Okay, so in actuality, like, this was the last island I played, but I only played episode 1. Then I forgot my password. Oops. My best description of this, at least from what I've played, was has anybody read the book Hatchet? Basically that. Mission Atlantis Island was the 40th island on Poptropica. But yeah, I believe this would just be like underseas exploration and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I've heard a lot of people like really like this one, Poptropicon. But I believe it's like a convention thing. Yes, my favorite song from Aladdin. Okay, number 1, this name is ridiculous, but apparently it was based on a webcomic. So I can't blame Poptropica for the name, I can blame the webcomic. Good to know. Also, I have no idea what like any of this was. Mystery of the Map Island was the 44th island in Poptropica. It was oh my god, there were graphic novels. I remember seeing like some of that in like a Scholastic thing, I think. Would this be considered a license or not? Made in the style of the book series Timmy Failure. Okay. So Timmy Failure Island is based off Timmy Failure. Good to know. Escape from Pelican Rock was the 26th island on Poptropica. Oh, it's a prison escape one. Peaceful Day. Oh, I take it back. Monkey Wrench was the 47th island in Poptropica. On August 2019, it was replaced by a different. But why though? Fitu. Crisis Cavern Island is the first island to be released on Hold on. What? Poptropica World? What? I'm sorry, they made a version of Poptropica in Unity? So they only did 3 and then just never did anything with it again. Okay, that didn't look as drastic of a change as I thought it was. But also, these things look weird with like actual like arms and legs and hands. I'm used to the sticks. I'm gonna close this out now because I don't know how to feel. Hey yo, it's the one. Greek Sea Odyssey was the 3rd island on Poptropica Worlds. It was also presumably the last one. Snagglemas was the 47th island on Poptropica. It succeeded Monkey Wrench Island, and it's the 3rd tutorial at... Hold on. what is Home Island, and also, why does the logo not appear correct? First released on the mobile app at launch, and it was added to desktop. Oh, okay. This was the reality TV sequel I mentioned. And the only reason I knew about this was because I was just looking for stuff, and then like Poptropica related stuff, and then this thing just kind of just popped out and slapped me, and I was very confused. Fairy Tale Island. You know what? I actually like the logo's look here. And you know what? The idea of just running around fairy tales, that definitely actually sounds like something that like the old one would have. Like, this isn't really that out of left field. This feels kind of just like normal for Poptropica. Like, you could convince me that like this was like an old one that I just somehow skipped. Goofball Island was the 53rd island on Poptropica. There's no plot summary. There is no plot. Secret of the Jade Scarab Island is the 24th island. It's the final of the 2021 Dream Island winner to be released. That's really cool. Well, that was certainly an interesting ride. Moving on. Now that that's over with, it's time for the like final list overall. And the 13 I would include, I'm not going to say them out loud because I've kind of lost count. So just here's the 13. They're up on screen. But you know what? I'll do one even better. I'll just throw out all the rules I have, even like the number of islands I have to include. Here's the islands I want in the Steam release. Yeah, all of them. Even like the ones that are currently available. You know why? Because they all hold equal value to someone out there. Anyone who has ever played Poptropica, every single one of these islands holds like a special place in their hearts. Except for Wimpy Boardwalk. No one likes that one, but I would still include it. So I guess the question is now, what would you choose to be like the 13 you would choose? Anyways, that's not a question up for me, because I've already said the 13 I wanted to choose. Hi, it's the end of the video, and as you see right here, I got the Steam page for Poptropica up. I'm going to look over the islands in just a moment, see how close I got. But I just want to say first, there's a Steam sale going on today. It's a summer sale, you know, you can good deals on stuff. And I thought Poptropica would be part of that. As you can see, it is not. So now let's look at the island, see how close I was, and for reference, here's the list I had. I believe I accidentally moved some of these around. One of them, and I just forgot which one. So, these are the only ones that are important. These are the ones I said, hey, here's what I would add. So let's see if I get any, if I've gotten any of them. Again, my list was just oh, hey, here's what I would do it. I think these, like, are overall the most important. But still, you know. Okay, starting off, it's mythology. I guessed that one. Nice. It's the classic one, and honestly, people were hoping for that. Classic island, yada yada yada. Meh. There's Shrink Ray Island. I got that wrong. Poptropolis and Monster Carnival, I did say that I'd include those, and those are indeed included, so yay. Tangled. Weird choice, but okay. Mystery of the Map. Okay, so that one's based on the manga. Based on the Poptropica comics or graphic novels, whatever they are. Virus Hunter, weird choice, but you know, Virus Hunter onwards aren't backed up on Flashpoint, so you know, if you want to play through every Poptropica island, you can technically play the old ones on Flashpoint. do it through get the ones that aren't on the website yet on here, which is like only 3 of them, I believe, and maybe the episodic islands, because I could see them in the corner. And then like just make an account to do the 2 on Poptropica Worlds, I guess. 24 camp. Why is this one out of order? I don't get that. Galactica. They're doing licensed islands. I'm amazed. I genuinely thought they wouldn't pay the money for that. Wow. Mock Tropica, again, not one of my first picks, but I still think it's a pretty cool idea, so yeah. Escape from Pelican Rock, that is a prison break thing, so that sounds really cool and people like it, so yeah, let's do that. Reality TV Wild Safari, that is the sequel, and could they have not just done the original? I mean, I know it takes work to like recreate all of it, but still, another one based on the book. And the episodic islands, these are the only 4 episodic islands, and oh, it comes with realms. I remember seeing something about this. It's like you could build your own islands or something. I don't remember. Ooh, the common rooms. That's something that is actually not a thing that is currently on Flashpoint, because that's really hard to replicate. So yeah, that's actually really cool. This thing requires 2 gigabytes of space? Anyways, this has been the end credits. I have social media and some other stuff in the description. Enjoy that, I guess. Jeez. That long yawn means I need a nap. I'm going to bed. Bye.